Hello and good afternoon or good morning in some time zones. Welcome to this afternoon's establishment of Aftermarket Academy Live. I'm Mary Ruth Bell, the Senior Manager of Aftermarket Training and Performance. And today our topic is PartsLink DFS, Dealer Information System. Got questions, get answers. We are so thrilled to have you today. Before we go very much further though, I'd like to do a sound check. So if you can find on your screen where it says questions, if you can let us know that you have, you can hear and that you are able to receive messages and send those questions. I want to recognize my colleague, Ty Hubbard, who is going to be our question and answer person for the day. So she is doing the sound check. So how are we doing, Ty? We got folks that can hear me. That's fantastic. So thank you. So that is also where you just said that you are able to hear me. That is where you're going to be asking questions today. We have several different portions and we will be entertaining questions throughout the presentation. So before we get into the formal presentation from our presenters, I do want to toss it over to Todd Shakespeare, our Director of Parts Marketing. Todd, take it away.
Thank you, Mary Ruth. Just for those of you that may not know me, like she said, my name is Todd Shakespeare. I've been with the group 17 years, 17 great years. But this really is a special honor to be introducing PartsLink really for the first time to many dealers. For me, it's almost a full circle. I was highly involved in the Parts Compass development and rollout a number of years ago. Parts Compass has been a great solution for all of us. It's done a heck of a job, but really the time has come to evolve, and PartsLink is that evolution. So it's been a long time coming, and I just want to talk a little bit about that. It's hard to believe, but over 20 years ago, Mac became a part of the Volvo Group family. We can debate, was it right or was it wrong? But when we brought Mac in, we left the solutions that Mac was using alone and the solutions that Volvo was using. So we've been operating for those 20 plus years with two different systems, two different back ends. How many times as a dealer have you said, why is the discrepancy process different between the two brands? Why do the invoices look different? Why is the availability in the PDCs not lining up well? When you've got over 60% of your dealer body that is both Mac and Volvo, those kinds of questions matter. So this effort started a long time ago. We've been working on PartsLink. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes that you as dealers weren't as aware of. So over the years, we've launched the Volvo, what we call inbound system. And then over Labor Day, we launched the Mac inbound system. I believe Torgny is going to talk a little bit more about that. But all of this were prerequisites and added a lot of value, but now we're ready to, let's call it the piece de resistance. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I think I got it close. This is the final cap that's really going to complete the transformation and make Mac and Volvo working under the same solution, taking care of all those issues that you guys talked about. We're incredibly excited to do this. I want you to know that what we're going to be talking about today isn't the first time it's been used within the Volvo Group. Volvo Construction Equipment has used PartsLink dealer-facing system successfully for many years. A lot of changes have gone in, making it really a fantastic system that has been tested by our sister company, and I feel really confident about rolling out to you guys in the near future. So thank you for your attention. I really do recommend, if you have a question, ask it. We've got the experts here on this call. Don't miss that opportunity. Nothing is off limits. These guys know the answers to pretty much anything you could ask, at least tied to PartsLink. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Mary Ruth.
So thank you, Todd. Thank you for all of your support of this effort and for being here today. In addition to Todd and his introduction, we have three guests today. Torgny, who is the lead project manager for PartsLink, Jonathan, who is the parts process and solutions manager, and Walter, who is the parts logistics process director, and each one of them will introduce themselves and the topic, and I will be having a conversation with each one of them with questions that are probably on your mind. So Torgny, welcome. So would you mind introducing yourself and your position within the PartsLink process?
Yeah, I'm located in Gothenburg, Sweden. You can probably hear that, right? I'm working for the Volvo Service Market Logistics head office in Gothenburg, and I'm the chief product manager, as we call it, for the PartsLink in the North America project. And I have been involved in the PartsLink system rollouts for quite many years now. So that's me.
So through your experience, what are the benefits to PartsLink for our dealers?
I mean, the whole idea of this thing we are doing right now is to replace old systems. Right? They were good, but the best before date has passed, and we need to provide our dealers a better system, more secure system, better uptime, high reliability when it comes to the information we have in the systems, and also we will provide more advanced features also in the dealer facing system, and more what we call it, the PartsLink dealer facing system, or DFS, and that handles both orders, the order handling process is in there, discrepancy handling, and buybacks, recalls, and other things that we need to have. It will be more information, it will be more accurate information in the system. And that should also give better control to for our dealers. So it will be quite beneficial for our dealers to use the system. And for multi-brand, I should mention that also, Todd was talking about VCE. And for multi-branded partners we have out there, working also with VCE and even Volvo Penta, they are already live with the system. So for them, it will be, I think, a great benefit to use the exact same system, regardless of Volvo brand.
So speaking to that, if I'm a dealer on the call today, how will my way of doing business change with the PartsLink solution?
In reality, not that much, I would say. We are trying to make this a smooth journey for the dealers. And but of course, it's a new dealer interface. So the way you look at the orders and so forth, it's a new system. And also, if the dealers is connected with the automatic stock refill, that will continue as before, so no change there. We don't even need to do a setup on the dealer's side. One area where we can see the biggest changes is regarding the reverse processes, such as discrepancy and buyback handling, because we will have much more system support in that area. And that will be beneficial both for Volvo, I would say, and also for our dealers.
So what is your timeline for when this should happen?
It's actually really happening, right? Todd also said that we had a quite big rollout for Mac during September this year, and that's the backbone of the system that is actually in place right now. It takes care of the warehouse management. So all Mack Trucks warehouses, or where we have parts for Mack Truck, are already live with the solution. So the next step is now to change the interface towards the users. And I mean, the previous go live we had during September, I don't believe that we affected the dealers that much. Hopefully not that much. But the next step now, we will see changes coming, and we are in the phase of user acceptance test currently. So that's what we are doing here in Greensboro right now, to get a full validation of the solution before we start the rollout. We hope that our dealer has, I mean, we don't have any major changes yet, but during 2022 they will come. So our plan is to bring the solution to a few pilot dealers, and the start is in the beginning of January. And then we will gradually, after the stabilization period, we will gradually ramp up the rollout and get all the dealers in during next year. So, but we believe that and also the information will be there when this will happen to our dealers in advance.
Thank you for that. If I'm a dealer, what do I need to do to be prepared for my go live?
We will provide quite a lot of information to the dealers during the next phase, right? But the most important thing would be the training, to attend to the training. And we will have both training classes and also e-learning will be available online. So the training is the essential thing. So that means our dealers need to identify all the person that is needed for training, for sure. But then, of course, more practicalities will come later on also when it comes to how to do the actual go live. We probably need to ask them to cancel really all orders so to make sure that we are in a good shape, so we don't do extra work that it doesn't benefit anyone.
So as we move forward with PartsLink solution, I'm sure that the dealers will have more questions. What should they do to get more information?
You will get information from the rollout team when it's time, and also from the training team. Otherwise, we suggest that we use our normal channels, right? So we should have I mean, if you have any specific questions, they can always call the service desk. But hopefully we will get all the information out there in good time in advance before they will be affected.
So Torgny, you have provided us with about a 3-minute video. We'd like to show that in just a few minutes, but before we do that, I'd like to reach out to Ty and see if there's been any questions that have come in from our audience.
Okay, it looks like we do have one question for Torgny. After the pilot go live, when exactly will you roll out PartsLink to us?
We haven't set a fixed date for each and every dealer yet. We have a plan, we have a strategy on how to do this. And the main idea is to keep the management groups together, so they don't need to train in different phases within a management group. We can keep everything together. And then try also to keep the warehouses together, because it will be more simplified for us. But we will come back on a more accurate timeline when it's time. But what we can say so far, we have one date that is fixed, and that is the 31st of January. And that's when we are going live with our first pilot dealer. And after that, we have the stabilization phase, and then we continue with the rollout. So we are looking forward to that.
All right, thank you so much. So I think it's time that we should show that 3-minute video. Thank you, Torgny, for your time today. Torgny will be back for question and answers. If you think of another question, put that in to the questions area, and Ty will bring that up later. So thank you, Torgny. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Every single second that ticks away, we, the Volvo Group, handle one spare part request. That's approximately 32 million requests a year. So yes, our service market is an important contribution to the Volvo Group result. And we have the customers to thank for that. They expect any part they require to be delivered wherever, whenever. That is why we've got more than 700,000 parts ready to be delivered all around the globe. Wherever the customer is, our suppliers and our vast network of distribution centers and delivery points will get the part to the right place at the right time. That's why our service market is considered world-class. Throughout the years, the Volvo Group has grown, and today it consists of a wide range of brands and products in different regions, resulting in many different systems and ways of working. Now, in order to respond to our customers' businesses, we need to maintain our service market leadership position and remain one step ahead by using common, up-to-date systems for our entire supply chain. So we have put our heads together, collected all best practices and selected the best ones to achieve one common way of working for the service market. This is the PartsLink solution. This solution makes our supply chain leaner than ever, making it much more transparent and helping the customer to get any part delivered on time. In general, it's much more user-friendly for all our service market players. With Parts Link, you know the order status at all times, whether it's traveling from a supplier to a distribution center or it has left the delivery point to the dealer. All changes in stock balances are visible in real time, improving productivity throughout the supply chain. The entire flow is planned in one go, leaving accurate, real-time data at your fingertips. As for our people working in the finance department, we've come up with one set of common rules, making their business follow-up easier and more accurate. So yes, with Parts Link, we strive to deliver change for today and for the future. Real-time information, enhancing productivity all along the supply chain, leaving accurate data at your fingertips, and giving you better visibility and responsiveness while supporting customer uptime. This is what Parts Link is all about. Parts Link, our gateway to sustainability and competitiveness on the service market. We make our customers win.
So welcome back. I know that they are telling me that several of you guys were not able to see that video, but for those that were not able to see it, let me reassure you that the recording will be available on Trucks Dealer Portal for not only the video, but also the recording of today's session. So if you weren't able to see it, you will get another chance to be able to view it. So thank you for those comments and putting them in to let us know. So while you were away, I have someone new with me now, Jonathan. So Jonathan, will you introduce yourself and your job role here at corporate?
The business side, the parts organization, and also with IT. And basically what I do with them is I work with the parts organization to determine what requirements they have for their systems. And then I work with IT to ensure that those changes are made and are made the way that is needed by the parts organization.
So what an exciting time to have that job role here with PartsLink. So again, with the focus on the dealer, what do you find will be the best benefits to the dealer?
So simplified visibility to all order and also invoice data should be the greatest benefit to the dealer.
And along that line, what's the best benefit to the dealer's customers?
So by improving their view to parts information and also to invoicing information, that should give them the ability to provide better customer service to their customers.
Oh, wow. So what changes do you think will happen that will make the dealer's day easier?
So when we did the change in September, one of the things we had to take away was their visibility to kit information, the kit breakdown. So we'll return that. Another thing that we'll give them is a much easier and much simpler vendor ordering instructions interface. So they'll be able to see vendor ordering instructions directly from the part. And then one other one, we're giving them the ability to see not only super session information forward, but also super session information backward. So if there are older parts that they need visibility to, they will have that.
So my questions have all been about the good things. So let's talk about the things that might present a challenge to the dealer.
So one of the things that we've seen is a few of the processes are a little slower. So not a lot slower, but a little bit slower. And we've also seen several processes that are faster. And so the things that are a benefit definitely will outweigh the negatives.
All right. So in collaboration with your team and Trucks Academy, we have produced a handout that is available today. It is available as a downloadable handout in the session that they are in today. And basically what it does is it talks about the features of Compass today versus the features in PartsLink. And let's assume that you are able to see that handout, and it is on the screen now for you, but if you're not able to download it, it will be available as a download later. But can you speak to a couple of the features inside this handout and draw the attention to those dealers?
Sure. So parts inquiry is the first thing. When you look at the parts inquiry process, today in Parts Compass, they have several different options to look at part information. Each one has benefits or gives you a little bit different view than the others. In the new PartsLink system, they'll have one parts inquiry view that has all of the information. And from that, they'll be able to put in multiple parts. They'll be able to see all the information for those parts, select any part, and then view details that include all the part information, availability, everything they should need to know about a part. Another thing too, from the main screen, when they have all of the parts, they will also be able to take that list of parts that they've created and export that into a file. They can save it to be used later, or they can create the order from it. And all of those are available again in one screen.
Wow, from what you've just described, it's almost like PartsLink should happen today because all these wonderful features that you're mentioning.
I wish for our dealers that we could give it to them today, but it will be soon.
Wow. Anything else on that handout that you would like to call their attention to?
Sure. So for the order inquiry, they'll be able to see invoice tracking, invoice information, tracking information. They'll be able to, from that one screen, be able to open up the invoice itself and see it. They'll be able to open up the tracking information and see it. And they also can open any individual order and see anything there, all the information there on the order. So it's a much easier screen to manipulate.
Wow. Well, thank you to your team for keeping all of the dealers in mind as you're working through these features. Thank you for putting together this handout. We put this out way before PartsLink is available, so I think you'll find this to be a helpful tool at the dealer level. So thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
Any last comments?
So two other quick things that I would like to point out. We're going to give the dealers the ability to do a split ship trailer load. And basically what that will give them is if they have a dealer group with multiple ship to locations, they can do one order for a trailer load. And then the supplier will drop ship to different locations for them. So they do not have to bring everything into a single location and then distribute it themselves. So that's a significant benefit. Another benefit that they'll have is for companies like Barnes or for engine oil ordering. Today, they have to do, the dealer has to create, we call it a stub order. So they create an order with one part. Send that to Barnes or whoever. Barnes will then bill all of the parts that they have restocked. So it's an extra step for the dealer that we're taking away from them. So what will happen in the future is for engine oil or things, or Barnes or things like that, those suppliers will be able to send us an invoice. We will create the dealer order, and then we'll handle the entire process. So the dealer doesn't have to do the initial order. So it should simplify things for the dealer.
Sounds exciting.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any last comments?
That's it.
All
Thank you.
right. Well, let's go to question and answer. Ty, do we have any questions?
We do. They're coming right on in. Some of them I will be holding until the end so that the appropriate person can answer. However, I do have one here for Jonathan. Jonathan, will there be any limitations for us moving into PartsLink?
The PartsLink really doesn't have any limitations. As I mentioned earlier, there are a few features that we have that will take a little bit longer or may require an additional step. There are several features that we have that will be much quicker and require fewer steps. So it is a different system, but really nothing that limits the system.
Wow. I think Ty has one more,
Yes.
maybe?
Will it show all of your on-hand inventory or just the quantity you're inquiring on?
So for parts availability, all inventory shows unless that inventory has been locked for some reason.
Okay. Any others? Yeah, Ty's
Yes.
saying she's got another one for you.
Yes, they're coming right
You're
on
very
in.
popular.
Yes. Will part kit numbers have breakdown of content?
So kits should have, we will have the kit breakdown. So that will be available.
Ty,
I think that is it for now.
that is it for
I'll
now?
hold, they're continuously coming in, but I'll hold the other ones for the very end.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time, and Jonathan will be available for question and answer at the end as well. So thank you. Stick around. We'll see you back in just a few.
Okay.
So thank you. So one of the things that I have been very excited about being involved with is the UAT, user acceptance testing, that is occurring here locally within the Greensboro area. So we've done a quick video, and I'm going to do a little bit of voiceover. What you're seeing on the screen here is the team that is working on this testing. And I had to laugh when I saw that picture of the Starbucks coffee, that they must like a lot of coffee. I know that they ordered coffee while we had lunch today. So this team is hard at work and making sure, and my next guest is going to speak specifically to that testing, so I don't want to give it away what they're doing, but we just wanted you to see that there is a team of people that are actually located here in the Greensboro office managing the testing. So we've got just a couple more seconds here on that video, and then we'll pass the questions over to Walter. So Walter, welcome. If you'll introduce yourself and your role within this organization.
Thank you, Mary Ruth. Hello, everyone. I'm Walter Vanderam. I'm actually within the Volvo Group for many, many years, and I've been involved in the different rollout project for the PartsLink solution, mainly Volvo Penta. And my role in that project actually are two. Actually, I am the test manager, and I'm as well the go live manager. But what I will be talking about today is the test session that we are having here. Right?
So it's been mentioned that we're already live with PartsLink for Volvo Construction and Volvo Penta, and a very few of the Volvo truck dealers. So why did we need to test the system, and what were you hoping to accomplish?
We have VCE that is live in the solution since 2015 and Penta since 2017. And the PartsLink solution is a global solution. So why are we testing the solution? This will be when we are finished with that rollout, will be the global solution for the North American organization. But global system doesn't mean one size fits all. Businesses have different ways of running their business. So what we are securing here by testing the solution again is that, first of all, that the system is set up according to the specification, as well as making sure that the specific functionalities related to specific business models are also set up. So this is securing the core setup of the solution, as well as the extra feature or different ways of running the business for each brand.
Excellent. So who is in your team and who is doing the testing in this system?
So right now, as you mentioned, we are in the UAT, which is the user acceptance test. So for the project, it's a very important phase, because this is the first time that we expose the solution to the end users. We have been testing the solution from a project perspective, and right now what we are doing is to have the key users from each and every department that is impacted by the solution to test the solution and to sign off on the functionality that we are rolling out actually. So it's very important for the organization and the users that will use the system in the future to sign off that. So this is what we are securing here.
So I've seen some of the testing, and it's very organized. So can you speak to how the testing has been organized?
Yes. So first of all, what we are organized in a collocation, and I would say it's an hybrid collocation. And this is due to COVID. But what we try to achieve here is to get all the testers, the IT community, and the project team in one time zone, so that we are completely efficient. So we have all the personnel here, and we are all working on the same time zone. And when it comes to the organization, we have for Mack and Volvo Trucks, we have two main processes, one being the PDC and the other one being the VDSP. So we have two tracks, and in each track we have different sub processes. For each sub process, there is a track lead that is responsible to run the tests, and we have small teams that are involved in those tests. So the business test, the IT are responsible, as well as the project team, so that we are secure that we are having everyone on hands on deck and securing that it works properly.
So speaking of works properly, how's it going? Is it going according to plan?
It is actually. First of all, I would like to say that we have a very engaged team. I mean, everyone is committed to run the UAT in a good way and is providing all the input needed. That's really great to see that, and I really thankful to all the participants. The testing is going according to plan. We are finding issues, and that's the purpose of the test. We know that the solution is not perfect from day one, so we are here to find defects. But what is good is that we are solving the defects, and so far the testing is going really, really good. Really good.
Great, that's wonderful news. So we're at the point for question and answer from the dealers on the call. So Ty,
All righty.
you have any questions?
I do have a couple. You mentioned differences between the different brands. What kind of differences are there?
Well, yeah, the core business is basically the same for all brands, but we have some differences. For instance, I take just only one difference. If we take VCE and Mack Trucks and Volvo Trucks, when it comes to the LPA concept, we are not using the same components. VCE is using a system that is called MMI, and the trucks brands, they are using a component that is called DSP or Global DSP. So that's one difference. There are other differences. If I take another one, is the way the different brands do their pricing. Penta is doing the pricing in a certain way. Volvo Trucks brands are doing the pricing in another way. So this is what I mean by different ways of running the businesses.
Ty, other
Okay.
questions?
I do have one more for Walter. Canceling of orders was mentioned. Will a list of all the orders that need to be re-entered into Parts LinQ will be, I'm sure it's saying be available?
Yeah, this is actually part of what we call the cutover activities. So when we go into the go live or to the rollout, we will secure that first of all orders that are entered in the legacy in Parts Compass and in Parts Compass, that they are shipped and invoiced. Then the next step is to look into what we should do with the back orders, and there are ongoing discussions, and we will find the best solution for the dealers as well as for the project. But we are looking into have the smoothest transition as possible.
Okay, excellent. So Ty,
I think we're caught up.
we're caught up.
Anything we miss, I'll get at the end.
All right, so Walter, same. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We will have a panel question and answer here just in a couple minutes. So please be sure as a dealer, if you have any questions, to put those down in that question area. So before we move to that, I'd like to take just a couple of minutes and talk about Trucks Academy and Trucks Academy's role in this Parts Link solution. So we had a question that came up a couple of months ago from a dealer that said, what is training going to do to support this? And the short answer is yes, we are going to provide training through Trucks Academy. We're actually working on right now an e-learning that will be housed in Navigator about forward flow and reverse flow, and that will be able to be utilized before the Parts Link solution goes live. We're also in the development of virtual sessions for each dealer, and I think it was Torgny that mentioned one of the things that you as a dealer can do ahead of time is to identify which members of your team you would want to be involved in that virtual rollout session. And then the tool itself has the most wonderful help feature probably that I've seen in my career. So for those of you that are apprehensive about how this rollout is going to affect you, Trucks Academy has it. We're going to be able to provide the training that you need for this transition to go extremely smooth for you. So with that said, Ty, it's time for us to move into the general panel questions. And what we'll do here is we'll actually ask the question, and then whichever of our four panelists, whether it's Todd or Torgny or Jonathan or Walter, they will take the most appropriate questions for their area. So Ty, I'll toss it over to you for the question and answer general session.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, the first question I have here is for Walter. What have you learned from the previous rollouts for VCE and Penta, and Volvo Penta?
That's a very good question. We've learned a lot of different things, but what we learned and what actually was very interesting is that the acceptance rate of the new system, so basically the transition from the legacy to the Parts Link was very high actually. And the transition in general has been very smooth, and the acceptance of the new this system was very high. And I can just mention that last week we were visiting one of the biggest Penta dealer, because I still have a Penta hat on, and for a different topic, but we asked him the question. So 4 years after the rollout, how do you experience? Do you still? What is your experience of the Parts Link? And he was extremely positive. He said, "This is an easy system to use. It's very, very intuitive. It's pushing information. It's very transparent." So he was very happy. That's just one experience, but we had a lot of different same experiences after rolling out the solution. Acceptance rate was really high.
Very good. Alrighty. The next one is for Torgny. Do we need to prepare anything in particular? Any system installations, IT changes, etc.?
Yeah, it's also a good question. I mean, if the dealer has a DMS system that is connected already to the current version of DMS or DFS as we call it, or then if you have an interface between Volvo and their DMS system, that will not change. It will be the same. So we don't have any change there at all. And the other part is the DFS, the dealer facing system, and that is a web application, and it has the same demands more or less as the Parts Compass, so there is no change at all in that case. So I think we're already good to go there.
Okay, very good. Thank you. This question is for Todd. With everything going on in the world, supply chain issues, labor shortages, transportation costs, Is now really the time to roll out this tool?
Yeah, let me answer that one, I guess, in layers. First, I'm going to go to Mary Ruth's comment. We could use this system right now. But let's talk a little bit more, about timing. There's never going to be a perfect time, right? I mean, there's always something going on, something in the way, and we can't let that stop us from forward progress. You also heard today about all the efforts that are underway to make sure that this system is working functionally, doing what we need it to do, safe to roll out, all of the testing that Walter talked about. So know that we are going to do every single thing we can do to make sure that when we roll this out to you, it functions well. It's a complicated system. I think we all know there's going to be some issues, but nothing that's going to be show-stopping. And then I'll end the answer with the Volvo Group is going to have multiple checkpoints from this moment until the moment that we go live. We're going to meet with what's called a steering committee. We're going to talk through, are we ready? How's everything coming? What are the risks? And that steering committee guaranteed would not let us go live, would not say roll this thing out unless they felt completely comfortable that we were doing the right thing. And then don't forget, we've got pilots that are going to test the solution, make sure that it's working well. We appreciate those guys that step up and are willing to do that for us. So now's the time to roll this out. The benefits that you heard are real, and we can't let the things going on in the world stop us.
Thank you. All right, Todd, since I've already got you there, I'll go on, I'll continue with another question. Will PartsLink better blend Volvo Mac world ID numbers, and will it offer crosses to vendor part numbers and road choice crosses?
Okay. So the first part of the question is yes. The GL3 or the implementation we talked about for Mac, the inbound that went live over Labor Day, really got us common parts. So parts that share the same world ID number are now visible and shared between Mac and Volvo. I know that the quantities our dual dealers see in the system aren't perfect. That's because, remember, I said in the introduction, we've still got some legacy systems functioning in the background that have slight differences, and also the way we reserve parts for VORs can produce some differences. So when PartsLink goes live, absolutely, you will be able to see shared inventory, those world ID numbers that are common to both Mac and Volvo, available to both brands at the same quantity levels, and allocating to your orders based on who gets the orders in first. So that was the first part of the question. The second part of the question, cross references to vendor and road choice. In some cases, yes. We want to be careful to a point. So there are some of the genuine proprietary numbers that we will not be crossing to vendor or road choice numbers. And then we'll also use other tools to provide those kinds of crosses. So the road choice website, the ASK, the aftermarket sales kit, those are going to be the primary tools for determining cross references between OEs and vendor/road choice part numbers.
Thank you very much. The next question is for Walter. Walter, is Parts Compass still an available resource during the transition, or is it a definite date that for the changeover?
Parts Compass will still be available for a while, and for one specific process, it's the discrepancy process. All discrepancies that are generated from the legacy will have to be finished in the legacy. But when this transition period and when the last dealer will be rolled out, Parts Compass will be closed, but that will take some time before we are there. But all dealers that are rolled out in the PartsLink solution after this discrepancy period will not be able to use Parts Compass anymore.
Thank you. This question is for Torney. What happens on January 31st? Is that the rollout or just the live pilot?
Yeah, the 31st of January, it's a very important date for us, because then we will put the production system in production with the first dealer, and that's our pilot dealer, and that's the only pilot dealer we are going live with at that time. But that will prove the system and make sure that everything works perfectly before we start the journey of rolling out the solution to all the dealers. So this is just a security step, And we will have a hypercare period after the first go live with the pilot to make sure that we can support the pilot if anything happens, and make sure that we fix any issues if we find them during the piloting phase before we start the ramp up or the rollout.
Thank you. Well, since I've got you there, I have another question directed towards you. Is this transition something we need to contact our DMS about?
No, we handle the DMS in that case. So we should be good to just switch the interfaces on our side.
Okay.
It's
Thank you.
a fast one.
All right. Thank you. All righty. I have a question for Todd. With the glitches that happened with the last update, how will Volvo handle these potential glitches that will be much larger, catastrophic than a small update?
Yeah, and then if anybody wants to support me on this question, please go ahead. But, you know, we've got, and we're just coming out of what we call a hypercare period. So, you know, anytime we implement a new solution of this magnitude, we've got feet on the street, if you will, that are making sure that things are resolved. As we come across issues, they're getting prioritized, high, medium, low. All attention, of course, is going to the high. We can't afford to hurt your parts business flow. So we're going to make sure that we're keeping the system up and running. All of the things, all of the checkpoints that we put in place, and I've talked to many of them, are just critical to making sure that we don't have and won't have a catastrophic kind of an issue. So, you know, we've got the pilots. They're going to test every little bit of functionality that you will be using as the general dealer body. So we'll know operationally that the system is sound before we roll out the first wave, if that's the direction we go. So then, post that, depending on how the pilot goes, the rest of the rollout will follow. So we might do a small group of dealers and then get larger as time goes on. If we had a very successful pilot, it could be a much larger group of dealers. So we are checking both the system functionality and the system performance along every step of the way. And there's rollback's too strong of a word. There's contingency plans in place for when we do run into issues to make sure that they get resolved quickly. And, you know, we talk about that Labor Day launch, you know, and granted, we faced some issues, but the team jumped on them. They've got them resolved as quickly as they can. We've made changes in the operations, and you'll see that same kind of thing. And another thing, sorry, I'm taking a long answer on this one. The group does a phenomenal job at what I call a white book, if you've heard that term before. But what have we learned from previous rollouts? And Walter could probably attest to this. The white book for this is, I would imagine, 2 feet thick with learnings from what we've experienced with Renault and VCE. So, you know, we will not let there be a catastrophic failure when we roll out PartsLink.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So I have a question for Walter. This is a long one. How will the PartsLink work with the dealers that are truck, construction, and Penta? Will we have one dealer code? Will there be a drop box to choose brand? Currently, once I'm logged into VCE and then log into Penta, my PartsLink changes to the last brand accessed. Will we need different browsers?
So there are a lot of questions in one. The way PartsLink is organized, I mean, there is each dealer is assigned to one sales organization to multiple sales organization. So when you log into the system, if you are multiple brand, you have a drop down and you need to choose your sales organization. So that's the first answer. So this is handled. If you are in a sales organization and if you want to switch to another, there is a menu and you can switch sales organization. And I don't recall the last part of the question. If you can repeat the last one.
It says, will they need a different? Will they need different browsers? And yeah. Yeah,
it's possible. Actually, it's actually possible to log in different sales organization if you use 2 different browsers. That's possible. Yes, technically it's possible. So the system is flexible. One dealer can be assigned to multiple sales organization. You can switch from a sales organization to another to place your order, and you can use different browsers in order to be logged in different sales organization at the same time. Yeah.
Well, Walter, I'll stay with you. I have a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
So, will there be a hypercare period after each rollout?
There is. Let's talk about the pilot dealer. So for the pilot dealer, however we organize, there is an hypercare. Absolutely. This is what Todd mentioned. So we will secure that for the pilot, we are monitoring every single process, and that all processes are working fine. There will be an hypercare period for that one of 1 month. Depending how the rollout is organized, of course, I mean, after each, if it's waves or if it's more, depending on the size, there will be, of course, there will be a team, the rollout team will be monitoring all the issues, absolutely. But it will be a little bit different. That will be done into the maintenance organization, where for the pilot, we have the project taking care of that. But there will be, yes, absolutely.
Okay. One more for Walter. Seems like we're placing all our eggs in one basket. Will there be a backup system?
When we roll out, I mean, when we roll out the solution, the parcing solution, that all our eggs will be in one basket. But we have contracts. We have now I forgot the name, but we have SLAs. So right now, the system availability, we follow that on a regular basis. And so just one example, the SLA that we have with the IT community is that the system needs to be available 99.5% of the time. The 0.5% remaining are the maintenance windows. And we are following that very carefully. And so far, when it comes to, and as we said, we have DC and Penta in the solution for many years now, and we have not experienced any system down that has impacted the system.
Okay. The questions are rolling in faster than I can keep up.
No.
All righty. So this question is for Torney. Will this speed up the process to receiving invoices for VDSP orders?
Yeah, the way we are setting up the VDSP solution is with a lot of automation. So what we have tested since March this year is making sure that the EDI transaction from our system towards the suppliers providing the parts are working fine and are automated in a good way. So that means this process will be more highly automated than today, which also means that the invoices should go automatically when we ship the goods from the supplier. So yes.
Okay. So I think we have time for one more question. Any questions that are not answered on the live, we will be able to get back with you and answer your questions on an individual basis. So last question for Mary Ruth. Mary Ruth, when will the training start?
When will the training start? What a great question. Walter, I kind of feel like that one that you just had to answer, because there's really a complicated answer to that. We are working very, very closely with this rollout team. You've heard a couple of times about the pilot, and we will certainly be available for the pilot dealers. And then we are ready for the team to tell us when they are ready for us to start doing the virtual sessions. So as a dealer, we've got you. We're waiting on the team to tell us when. We are learning the system just as fast as we can, so that we can provide the most important and relevant and timely training for you as the dealers. So I can't really answer that question in a direct way, because there's not a date on the calendar, but we are standing ready to help the dealers. As you know, we always are. So while she sent this back to me, I think on purpose, because she knew that I was the next one up. So I do want to reiterate, sorry, I can't say that word well. what Ty said. I know that there's a lot of questions out there in the question bank, and thank you for your enthusiasm and your engagement with those questions, and we will not ignore them. We will gather them, and our team will come back to you if it's a question that we can answer directly to you. We know who you are. So I want to extend a very hearty thanks to Torgny and his team, Jonathan, Walter, and Todd for being with us today. I want to thank the group that has traveled, many of them from their homes during a pandemic, to be here to ensure that the product and the system is what you need it to be as a dealer. Those track leads that Walter mentioned, they're taking time away from their desk jobs to ensure that the testing goes well for you as dealers, and that parts DFS rollout in North America will go smoothly. I feel like I'm at the Academy Award because I'm also thanking our production team that's here in the room. And earlier they're doing it again. They're showing. So that's the behind the scenes of what today looks like. I know that sometimes you guys, you see the on-air personality, and trust me, there is no newscaster or Oprah Winfrey that's in jeopardy of losing their job, because this is not what any of us are really, really comfortable with, but we get it done for you guys as dealers. So thank you, Wes and Amanda, Ty, and Petra for the behind the scenes effort. And Alan, you're sitting over there as well. So thank you also for all of you guys that are in attendance. I know that you have taken an hour out of your very busy day at the dealer, and that's important. And thank you for your enthusiasm. I hope that you have found some questions, some answers, and as we have said, we are going to do our best to keep you informed as we move forward. The recording of today's event will be on Trucks Dealer Portal. I want to remind you, there's probably just a couple of seconds left for you to download. So before I say goodbye, make sure that if you want that downloadable handout today, then you can click on there while I'm saying the last portions here. And if you're not able to download it, it will be available on Trucks Dealer Portal also. As you guys, anybody that's ever been to anything Academy, you know that we have surveys, and we take those surveys to heart. We believe in the feedback that you give us. We have made changes not only to these Academy Live events, but also our training, the courses that we provide to you as dealers. So the surveys are very important to us. So with a last comment, I want to say thank you again to everybody. Most of you guys know I'm a group hug person, but in today's COVID world, that's what we need to do. So group hug, everybody go out, be safe in the world, and be profitable, and do your best, and stay in touch with us about PartsLink. So thank you very much, and goodbye.